Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Captain Frost and today I want to talk to you about Ritual and Ritual in solo self-found exactly. So is it good, is it bad, how it feels, how it plays, what are the rewards and all the stuff like that. So Ritual is kind of interesting and to be honest it's kind of underwhelming as well. So with Ritual it takes quite a bunch time, a bunch of point investment as well, so you can't really skip too much of the nodes like you can do with some other league mechanics, and you wouldn't lose as much as you're losing with Ritual League. So you want to get all the way to the top to get 4 rituals. You want cheaper rerolls, you want more rerolls, you want all the more tribute, you want talents for ritual vessels, you want talents for ritual chance to spawn, and what are you getting for that was really quite underwhelming. And I've played with it for maybe like 30-40 hours, just playing through white maps, through yellow maps and through red ones, taking my time, watching at all the different rewards that it gives you, trying to get all those cool unique rituals, but to be honest, even with the unique ones, it still wasn't really enough if you were to compare it, for example, to Legion. Legion is king not only in Trade League currently, it's king in solo self-found as well, it depends on what are you trying to get out of your ritual. So what my goal was initially, I went for heist, I went for essence, and I went for ritual in this combo of 3. So I didn't took all the points for essences, but I took many of them. I took most of the points in heist, and I've tried to get as many in ritual as well. And I didn't take any expedition, and I've completely maybe it's gonna be a bit more time consuming here, but I'm gonna need this backstory. So I hate expedition. I hate how it works in solo self-found, especially with how it just grants you all those items. It's just all the other ways for you to acquire the gear become way less just profitable in terms of how often can you get a very good rare items. It's all about rare. It's all about rogue crafting here. And I don't really enjoy the mechanic of the expedition itself, of building all those little things, then blowing up, then going into logbooks. Even though dropping logbook is a very big juice increase, but still I don't really enjoy that too much. So I've played with expedition with all these past leagues whenever it was possible to spec into that. I've tried it, I've played it. It is good, but it kills all the fun for me, which means that I've decided to go left with my talent tree, Atlas talent tree. And I definitely wanted essences because I needed to craft heist based to Hender from heist. It's one of the exclusive bases from heist, and I needed something to craft that item with, which means that essences, they are not as I don't hate the gameplay of essences because it's just a rare mob. You're killing it, you're getting a bunch of good crafting stuff. It's not as deterministic as expedition as well, so it's a bit more fun. It's not as heavy as investment, and I don't need to go in the right part of the tree. And I don't really like harvest as well, with how it was overused from time. And it's just, it's very good, it's very useful. I don't like it, I don't take it. So now when it comes to ritual, what was my plan? In heist, I would get all the potential currency, or maybe good uniques, replica uniques, if there was any build enabling ones for my second or third character. So heist was more of a exclusive loot source, and it was a source for my base, or for my baseline to Hender. Then what I was achieving with essence is quite obvious: to craft that particular rare item, or any other rare items, or 6 links that may drop from heist that will be just with not very good mods, or 5 links even, whatever. So yeah, heist to get the quite exclusive, unique, and very pricey gear in lesser quantities. Then craft it with essence. And what ritual should have been, from ritual, I wanted to maybe target farm some specific uniques if rare rituals were more common, then I would have been able to get some high value and like tier 1, at least tier 1 uniques, some build enabling stuff, and then I would have got that from the ritual. Maybe I would have got some additional ritual bases, like helmet with flat cold, and because of my so there's some complications there, but to be honest, ritual was something where I could have target farmed the thing that could have been rare, and the thing that probably wouldn't really I would probably wouldn't really get from the heist, because heists, they are good with 6 links, they are good with replicas, and they are somewhat good with currency as well, but they are not really that good if you need some just regular uniques, but more rare ones. So not replica uniques, but more rare regular uniques. And in that, it failed completely. It didn't really gave me any good uniques. It didn't really give me well-rolled rares too much. So heist was way better in terms of well-rolled rares, with its enchanted armaments, or with its replicas and experimented items, but mostly enchanted armaments, where you could find well-rolled items, and you have better you have just way better agenda of what you're taking. You don't need to spend so much time on heist as well. You don't need to go and run through regular contracts with it. But with ritual, what ritual does is it is quite punishing on higher tier maps. So if your build sucks, then you can't really skip all the mobs, jump through them, take the loot, and get out. That's minus number 1. Minus number 2, they're not really that much rewarding. Yes, there are some currency in them from time to time, some rare ones, annulments, maybe ancient orbs, maybe some exalt, or I get like 2 divines out of that, but I haven't really used them. You can get something that is rare from rituals, but the time investment and this, to be honest, quite hard level of the content itself in higher tier maps, it's not even it is so hard, because you're quite often good with damage against it. But there are just way too many different rituals, at least for my types of builds that I'm playing in SSF, that I'm building myself, that these rituals are problematic. Chaos ones, the icy beams ones, they are just annoying to deal with. And whenever you and some other ones that are either buffing enemies or but let's not get into too much detail. But the mechanic itself is quite punishing on the higher tier of maps. It is quite time consuming, because you are in the ritual for pretty long time. You can't really do anything together with it. You need to wait for mobs to spawn, and then there's always some mobs that are behind the wall, and there's 1 or 2 mobs hiding there. You're losing some additional time in order to get them. Then you're looking at all items. You're doing that quite often, and there is. Whenever you get into heist, you're looking for you're looking at very high quality items quite often. They're either well linked or well rolled, or have unique properties to them. And even if you're doing that once every 40 hours, for example. You've got one blueprint for one time in 20 minutes, then you've run it, you've get it, and it's like it's not as often. In rituals, you're constantly scrolling through all those items. You're looking at them, especially if you're playing in solo self-found again, and you don't have all the juice in the world to get all the loot that you need. you're spending a lot of time just looking through all those items. And yeah, thinking when you're rerolling again, you have to look through that. And it's just with amount of rare and regular rituals that you're getting, the ones that give you divination cards or very good uniques, or just currency ones, they are pretty good, but they are way too uncommon. And that's probably the biggest problem with that mechanic, is that it just is not really rewarding enough for the time that you're investing in them, for the effort that your character has to be on a certain level of quality, I guess, especially in higher tier maps. And in lower tier maps, again, if you were to play with Essence, in lower tier maps, you're just one-shotting it and you're getting 3, 5, 7 shrieking essences, and you're good. You're going through the map again, and you can find 2 or 3 essences, and they will duplicate if they have shrieking. And with not that big investment of points on the Atlas talent tree, you will get a bunch of essences in your maps, and they will be shrieking, and they will duplicate and stuff like that. But with rituals, you're getting 3, or if you're spec'd into them, 4 rituals. You have to wait on every single one of them. If you're farming lower tier maps, you need to wait just as long, and the probably loot wouldn't be really good. If you're farming higher tier maps, then everything is quite reapy, and you still need to wait pretty good amount of time. So yeah, in my own opinion, I probably will, at least, Path of Exile 2 is close, so what do I know? What will happen to all the leagues and stuff like that? But if there was more leagues, more regular ones, or if the state of endgame will stay the same in PoE 2 as well, then I would probably stay away from rituals in solo self-found, especially, because it's just a combination of unfortunate minuses that add up together, and they just don't worth it. Not worth it. And for example, Legion is just straight up way better. Even if you're going into the left side, you can still go through your top part of your Atlas tree, get all the end game parts with increases of drop rates of Elder and Shaper maps, increases of Conqueror maps. And then you can get to the top part of the Legion without the single cluster of nodes that just gives you a spawn chance, and you will be just good. You will get that Legion, you will respec out of your ritual, and you will have probably from 3 to 4 times more good stuff. You will have timeless jewels, you will have just way less time spent on spawning all those minions, all those mobs, and it will be way better in lower tier maps as well, because you still can farm splinters, you still can farm emblems in there, you still can get pretty good rewards in terms of currency, in terms of incubators, and it's just way better, even with either the same investments or even a bit lower investments than in ritual. And even if you're not speccing in the right part of the tree, it's still better. So that's my thoughts on that. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time. Goodbye.